Hello, yearbook people. I am making another tutorial because I need to show you guys how to make some templates for sports pages. So ignore all my tabs. I am doing college things. So I've been working all week, which I regret not making a tutorial while I made all of these templates, but I've made team pages. We've got templates. And the first tutorial that I made this basic template, which I'm going to look at and talk about real quick. So from the first one, we made this, which I've edited just a little because we are not using these anymore. But I left them there just because I haven't gotten that far. So all of the presets are here, just as a reminder, and the fonts we're using are this and this. I need to delete this one, because we're not using it, and Times New Roman, but I think I'm using Times New Roman for some of the graphics, that I added. So this is for a basic spread. This would be something for a club, which I know Aaron is making the ladder, so some of the templates that we're going to use are mostly going to be for 2 things or even 3 things, I've been told. There might be 3 subjects to a page, so I might have to make more and more and more templates. But this is basic. It's going to be a big picture, and when we're taking pictures, you want to make sure that this will be legible. If not, we'll change it, but hopefully we can use a lot of things like this. This is for basic things. Now, a template I made that could be used for sports. With sports, you need a mod, lots of pictures, lots and lots and lots of pictures. I learned from last year a lot that the sports pages, those are the ones that need as many pictures as possible, because Miss Legier sometimes takes photos for stuff like that, or a student will, and it will just be hordes and hordes of pictures. So one that we'll probably use for sports, I'm going to say template 2. I'm just going to open it. We might use a page like this for sports, which granted it won't have as much writing. I just like putting big blocks so I can see what it would look like with the max amount. We've got lots of pictures, lots of pictures, lots of pictures. It would be great for a sports page because we've got all these places to write about all of these pictures. And if you see flipped, that's like if I want to put templates on a page, we have 2 options if we want to use the same things over and over. Another page that might be good would be this one. Granted, it doesn't have as many pictures on it, but I think this mod and this would be good for a big sports picture. Say something like golf. This could be good for something like golf. This could be good for a golf page. You got the interviews with the athletes. You've got a big picture of someone on the field, and then smaller pictures and writing about those in these. Could be nice. I think that's good, and also something I forgot to put on the first one when I did it. Actually, no, I did put it, but I didn't really explain it, I don't think, in my first tutorial. Every single page has to have a subheading. I forgot about that last year and had to go through and edit all of them. So this year I'm making sure to put subheading on the templates. You cannot get rid of the subheading. It has to be there. And I'm pretty sure the text has to be left aligned, but I can't remember, so I'm just doing it the way I like it and how it looks. But you can see for some templates, a lot of them, I'm just trying to talk about this before I get started. We've got a heading and a heading, 2 separate subjects on one page with 2 headings and everything. You want to utilize your space to the best of your ability and try and keep some of the white space. I liked putting this right on the edge or about on the edge because we'll still see a little bit of the white, but we could even drag this off if we wanted it to cover the whole thing. But I like it like that. So this one's going to be 2 different subjects. So this could be FFA and this could be something else, like 2 clubs or 2 subjects. So this could be Spanish club and French club, something like that. So we've got lots and lots and lots of templates, and I'm going to do a basic sports template today, because the sports templates are the hardest ones to make because you need to have a lot of information, and a big spread like this would be probably not for a sports page, but it might be. Maybe, because it's got a mod. So I'm just going to make this and delete it after this video. So I'm going to call it practice template for tutorials. Now where did it go? Here we go. This is our page. Remember to always put the grid on. You always need the grid. I like having it because you're supposed to use it when you do anything, so I'm going to use it for this too. So we've got our box. This is going to be a picture. Sports pages, Miss Legier, I know, likes to have a big, huge picture on the page. So we got our big picture. I'm going to make it go to there. This is good. And let's say this is going to go down to the bottom of the page. Then we gotta have space for a mod. So we got the biggest picture, we're gonna put the mod in. Now, I'd say over here. Actually, I think I'm gonna put it on this side of the page. So this is our mod. for this page. Here we go. The mods I've been making this dark gray color. That's our mod. We can have our heading go up here. This is going to be our heading for this sports page. And later down the line, once I get the stuff all working, we will be using the I Feel font for this book. So, here we go. That's our heading. Now we've got to fit as many photo boxes on this page as humanly possible. I try. So, we're going to have this one kind of extending into the other side, because also you want to make sure the two sides will feel connected when you open the book. So, we're going to have this, and it's going to be a little darker. Actually, probably going to shrink it just a little. Like that. Then, oop, meant to hit control. Then we're going to do one like this. And you always want to leave one box of space between, like I said in the previous video. So we're doing this, and then going to extend that to there, and then like this. Do it like that. And then like this. You just want to keep putting them in. And you want varying shapes, because there's a lot of different pictures that will be put on these pages. So it's important, at least to me, to kind of give yourself the ability to find a spot for every single picture we might put on the page. So I'm going to make this part of the heading the special italic font, so this part can be a little bigger, because I want it to kind of shift around. This stuff here, if it will work with me. So we're going to have this, because you don't want the text to fall off the page. And then have this box be a little smaller. And then, actually I'm going to do it like this, because then I can, just like that. And then I want to move the font down so it's less apart, I guess. I feel like it always makes it look nicer when they're kind of closer together for the headings. So there. We've got a nice heading and some boxes, because we need as many boxes as possible. Now we're going to have our body text for the main portion of the template. The main writing that the students will be doing is probably the most important part of ensuring it's big enough. I find some people like to write more, some people like to write less, so I usually do about that much. Oh, it didn't want to work. Oh my gosh, I'm going to move that for a moment. Here. I'm going to do like that. Oh, I don't have it selected. Okay. The reason that wasn't working just now was because I didn't click text. See, I make mistakes a lot when I'm trying to make these. Here we go. I'm just going to put some dummy text for us to look at. There. This is going to be our body text. I'm just going to plop that in there a bunch. There you go. Perfection. I want to have a little bit of white space, so we're going to make it longer, and boom. Heading can go back. And I've been liking overlapping the heading with the text a little, because I think it looks nice, so we're going to do that. And then this can even be extended, and we can even put like a caption here. So this is our caption text. Oh. Guess we're full screen now. That's fine. So this is going to be a caption. We can envision this as caption text. Do that a bunch, and then go over here. Small caption I would use for this, and perfect. It's perfect. Okay, then we have our mod. I'm actually going to probably make this mod just a little taller and scoot it over a little so I can make this box kind of extend. I'm going to scooch this up so it's not so uniform and make this one go to there and this one go up just a tad more there. Just so they have shape variety, I guess. Then we want to put our mod heading here. So I'm going to do this outside the box so I can drag it in. I find it easier. Then heading. I'm going to make this way tinier. so it looks different, I guess. And I want to shrink this so the space between the two is smaller. Boom. This shall be our mod heading. When the heading actually gets put in, I've been doing stuff like this. I'm envisioning doing something like this. You can do this, and then you can actually put an outline around the text itself, which I think looks nice, and I regret not doing more last year. And then if you were to do that, just for reference, you go here to edit it. And sometimes if you want the outline to be thicker, oh, I did that again. If you want the outline to be thicker, you can copy something and Control-Shift-V, which it'll be Command-Shift. That didn't work. You can go to edit and paste in place, and then make the border as thick or as thin as you want, and go to layout and put it all the way back behind it. So then the text will have a pretty nice outline on it, which you can then just get rid of that, and boom. I'd probably want this text to be white. I want this to be white, and then look at that. That looks great. So we're gonna have interviews here in the mod. So athletes, usually you want to fit a good chunk of the interviews in this mod box. You want to fit a bunch. I try to fit a bunch at least. So we're gonna have 1, 2. And if you ever want to make sure stuff is like in the same, just hit this button. These are the best. These are gonna probably one of the most useful tools for lining things up to make sure you have enough space between each. I love this tool. I love clicking this button, and it makes me feel sane because it just helps keep them all in line, so then I can go in and adjust like the amount between each box. Then we just do this again, and shaboom, they're all perfectly aligned. How great is that? That's magical. And even if we want to have a certain amount, like, you can fiddle with that. It's very useful. Now we're gonna do this. This is going to be mod text. And I'm going to shrink this to small caption. And we're gonna copy that once. And then student names. The student names, it's very important that they're always the same because I think this year we're doing parentheses for the names again. I think that's what we did last year. You're going to go here, and you're going to just select bold. And that's all we're doing because I don't want it to get too confusing. It's very easy to put on a page, so that's why I'm doing it that way this year. And we're going to put that right next to it. Boom. Look at that. How magical. Now I'm going to actually delete these and do this again now that I have the text. And we're just going to copy that a few on times. And shaboom! Look at all that. Look at this nice mod we've made. Now we're going to take all of this and do the alignment again. Get a good alignment. I'm going to select all of those and move them all the way over. And I think I'm going to knock them off the box just a wee. And then now what I want to do, actually, is add some kind of like actual writing portion for this mod. I think that would be nice. So I'm going to add a little line here just to fill in the space. So it doesn't feel so empty. Put that there. And then we're going to have a mod description. Sometimes I put these on mods. It's not always that they're there. I totally spelled description wrong. Oh. Hello. Bro. Here. Yeah, that's not how you spell description, but it's okay. This is going to be the description. Again, I'm going to do small caption because the mod text is got to be pretty small because how big the mod is. It's pretty tiny. So here we go. Not too much. I'm just going to do that once. And look at how nice. And then we can literally move this down. So it's just kind of the tippy tops of the letters peeking out. And then move this down just a little. And I think I'm actually going to move these up just a little. Move those up. Look at how cute. How cute is that? Awesome. Perfect. And great. Now, I think I'm going to move this to like there. There's not a lot we can do with this space, so actually I'm probably going to do this. That looks nice. You just have to find out how you're going to play with the space on the page. So if you look, actually, something I've learned with the program is it does move your stuff around a lot. I accidentally just made a ruler. It moves your stuff around. So for this, I'm going to group it so it doesn't move, because when I move it around, it won't shift. I'm going to move this on top of this box. Now, I know that looks, to some, probably looks a little funky, because you're like, ew, why are you putting that right on top? Well, I'm putting it right on top because I like it. I love, right now for this book, layering kind of things on top of each other, just because I feel like it fits the vibe of going for, like, nostalgia. It is kind of an homage to the scrapbook theme I just like adding. We're doing kind of homages this year, so I was trying to add in an homage to a past book, while also we're doing an homage to the Taylor Swift book we did. It's a lot of homages to lots of old things that we've done. Um, but again, we're just going to add in boxes and boxes and boxes on this page. Sports pages, you want to have stuff. You can also put in cutouts, which I'll show you how I demonstrate how I'm going to put a cutout on a page, which I'm sure some of you might already know, because I know this year we have a student who's already worked on templates, which I'm very excited about, which you might be watching this, so I'm sorry that I'm talking about you. But look at all these nice boxes we've got. And I'm going to put some more caption text right here. Caption here. And make that black. And do this. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting my Windows key on accident. I'm used to command from the school computers now. I'm just going to do this a ton. And then small caption. And then womp. Oh. Hello? What the heck? Okay. We're going to do this instead. A lot of the time you can't just do that when you're making templates, to just copy the box. It's way easier. I forget that that's an option sometimes. But ta-da! Look at this great text. So perfect. So great. Perfect. Caption. Boom. And then, that's pretty much what I would do, I feel like. It obviously is going to have more things on the page. Let me show you where I get the cutout icon. Let me save this first. You go to click art. This is something that Walsworth has automatically on our program. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. They have it on our program automatically. But this is really useful because it can actually give you graphics without having to upload anything. There's a million that you can look for, but I go to people. And there's a ton of, like, cutout looking people. Give it a second to load. They look like these. These guys. But they are full body. So you can kind of show people, like these, where you want them to put actual cutouts of people. So where are the student ones? I like using the student ones. Show me my students. Where are they at? There they are. These people. I love this one. I used this one too much last year because I just liked how it looked on the pages. But if you want to show people that you want a template to have a cutout, put a person in. Boom. You got a person. How cool. You can put a person anywhere. I really like this feature. I think it's very helpful. And they have cutouts showing different things. So if you want a specific kind of cutout, you can put one on the page and then be like, hey, make sure to do this. Like the little boy playing basketball. You put the little boy with the ball. Or there's like, all these little running things. There's lots of ones. I don't use the very cartoony ones because they look kind of dumb. If you want to use them, up to you. Everybody has a different style. Everybody wants to do different things, and I know that all of you are going to like completely different design things than me, so it's not that you have to do this exactly. You guys can really experiment with whatever you want, because that's what I do, and I don't want to limit your guys' like creative flow with all this, because it's very entertaining. It's very fun. And there we go. That's pretty much a sports template. You could fit even more photos on this than I did, but this might actually get used. I'm gonna actually turn this into a template. We get another one. What was I on? Also, the reason I have it as 9-1 and 9-2 is so they stay in order of when I made them. Because if you put 10, it goes all the way back up here to 1, which is frustrating. So we're gonna call this template 9-3. And then she shall go all the way down here, which is really great. And another thing I'm going to talk about real quick is, while we're talking about sports pages, is the team photos page is very, very annoying. This looks like an absolute mess of words. But it will make sense eventually. So how this works, I had to make these in class on Friday. So team photos, we're not organizing them by like fall, spring, winter. It's just they're in order of when they happened, about the ones that happened the same season are together. So these are the fall ones. Fall ones are first. So we've got cross country, football, golf, volleyball, swim. Volleyball is these ones, swim is this one. It looks a little funny, but the pictures of the teams will go here, which we already started getting. Mrs. You already started, I think. Team photos will go here, and the corresponding names and stuff will be right underneath. So when you make these, it's very it's not very fun to make because it's very straightforward. So varsity basketball, boys, girls. Wrestling, boys, girls. Sometimes it's varsity, so you want to make sure you label it correctly. Sometimes they only have one team and it's not JV or varsity, so you just put nothing. Like boys weightlifting is just one, so you would put all their names there. Varsity, junior varsity, girls, boys, stuff like that. Very easy. You might have to. Someone will have to do that eventually. And dividers for this year. I made this as a template, but I know Aaron actually liked it for some kind of divider. So dividers usually it's whatever you're feeling. I've made 3 options. This is the one I think I made based on what Aaron liked. This cute little divider, very simple. Won't have this much text when we actually write it out. It'll mostly be a photo, but you know, all that stuff is great. Great stuff. That is sports templates. If you ever want to look at templates I've made, you can come in here and literally look at them. You go to plan book, custom templates, and everything is there. In the next video, I'm gonna go over all the buttons on the program, or try to go over as many buttons as possible as like a introduction to Walsworth, because I never got that, and it is very, very, very confusing sometimes when you don't know how to use it, or you've used other programs like HJE Design or anything else. There's so many yearbook programs at this point. So I am going to show you guys how to do that, but the ladder should be almost in. So once we get all of it checked over by Miss Legier, we can all start working, and I'm going to have you guys start practicing. So that is a sports template. I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial, and I hope that helped. So that is the second video. The third video is going to be the one you probably watch first, but who cares if they're out of order? So thank you for watching, and I hope this assisted you guys in making sports templates. Bye!